Next, I'm going to show you how to thread your lift cords onto the clutch system. Before you can begin, you want to make sure that your rod is slid all the way to the end of the clutch unit. Your fiberglass rod will slide back and forth like this. You want it so that it's all the way over to the bead chain side. You don't want to start out like this. You want to push your rod so it's up against the bead chain side. We're going to start with your interior lift cords, each having a rod bracket aligned with them. You're going to take your 0.9mm lift cord and you're going to thread through the small hole here of the tip of your rod bracket, and the end of your lift cord is going to point away from the clutch unit. I have a close-up right now on this rod bracket, but the clutch unit is on this side of the rod bracket. You want the end of the lift cord to point away from the clutch unit, and you're going to just thread this end right through this little hole here. Then you're going to take the end and just make a simple knot. You're going to take your cord clip, and on this cord clip there is a groove here. See if I can angle it so you can see it properly. There is a little groove right here for your lift cord to rest into. One side has almost like a hole, that's where your knot's going to rest into, and the other side is where the lift cord is going to guide through. You want this groove to be on this side of the rod, not underneath, but on top of the rod, which actually becomes the bottom of the rod when everything's installed, but when you're looking at it yourself, it'll be the top of the rod. And you want your cord clip to be clipped to the rod with the lift cord threaded through. So in this case, I have the hole here pointing away from the clutch unit. The lift cord is resting inside the groove here, with the knot resting inside that big hole. You can even tug a little bit so that it kind of catches inside that clip a little bit. And then you're going to clip it to the rod so that the lift cord is running straight through the rod bracket, through the little groove of the clip, and clip to the rod. And your little end here will hang off. You can maybe trim it if you feel it's too long. You want this to be fairly close to the rod bracket. There's really no exact math as to how close, but you can have it about looking just like that. You're going to repeat this process for each interior lift cord of your Roman shade. Each interior lift cord will have a rod bracket aligned with the lift cord. And again, you're going to thread your 0.9mm lift cord through the shade rings, through this little hole at the tip of your rod bracket with the end pointing away from the clutch unit, and having a knot at the end of your lift cord, clip it to the top of the rod. It looks just like this. It doesn't matter if the C is pointing towards you or away from you. What matters is the position of the lift cord on the rod itself. Now we're going to thread your exterior lift cords. We're going to start with the lift cord that's furthest away from your clutch unit at the other end of the board. Again, you're going to have a micro screw eye that's aligned with your exterior lift cord. You're going to take your lift cord and thread it through the screw eye towards the clutch unit, and you're going to thread it underneath the next rod bracket, which may be several inches away from that screw eye, and that's normal. There is a tunnel, if you will, underneath this bracket here that's installed on the board, and you're going to thread it underneath the bracket here. And then through the next screw eye, which you can see right here. Let me see if I can bring the camera up a little better for you to see. Through the next screw eye, you're going to tie a knot at the end of this lift cord. after you've threaded the lift cord through the screw eye, and then you've tied a knot at the end of the lift cord, point the lift cord so that the end is pointing away from the clutch unit. The clutch unit is over here, and you're going to need to turn your lift cord so that's pointing away from the clutch unit, and you're going to clip your lift cord to the side of the fiberglass rod that's facing the board. That's the complete opposite side of where you clipped your lift cord when you threaded your lift cord through the bracket. Again, you're going to position your cord clip so that the lift cord rests in the groove here with the knot resting inside of its little hole. And you can just kind of insert the lift cord so that it kind of rests in the groove, and you can pull slightly so that it kind of catches within the little hole of that cord clip. And then you're going to take it and clip it to the rod. The lift cord is now clipped to the bottom of the rod, and you want the cord clip to be on the side of the screw eye that's furthest away from the clutch unit. You don't want the cord clip to be on this side of the screw eye. You want it to be on the opposite side of the screw eye. Just past the screw eye, you don't need to go any further than that, but it's important that you start out on the right side of the screw eye. Otherwise, the lift cord will start to wrap itself around the cord clip and cause all kinds of problems. So at this point, this is what your last interior lift cord and your exterior lift cord furthest away from the clutch unit will look. Now we're going to thread the other exterior lift cord, the lift cord that's closest to the clutch unit. Thread your lift cord through its shade rings and then through its aligned screw eye towards the clutch unit. You're going to thread the lift cord underneath the clutch unit, underneath the next rod bracket, through the next screw eye that again should be about 3 inches from the rod bracket, and just as we did before with the other end lift cord, you're going to tie a knot, have the lift cord end pointing away from the clutch unit, and clip it to the bottom of the fiberglass rod, the side of the rod that's closest to the board. Take your cord clip with that hole, have the knot rest in that hole so that the end of the lift cord points away from the clutch unit, and you're going to clip it to so that the lift cord is at the side of the fiberglass rod that's closest to the board, and you want it so that the cord clip is to the side of the screw eye that is furthest away from the clutch unit. Again, this screw eye really is a little bit too close to this rod bracket. You're not going to have enough room between lift cords here. As the lift cord winds along this rod, it's going to interfere with this cord clip here. So ideally, you'd want to have the screw eye about another inch over to give yourselves plenty of space between lift cords. This is the most common troubleshooting tip that I can give you. If your lift cord, if one side of your Roman shade is raising higher than the other, it is likely that you have your cord clips too close together. In the event that that is the case, and that your lift cord is winding on top of itself, on top of the next cord clip, you need to move your screw eye over so that you have more space between cord clips. And that's it. Your shade system is now threaded. The next thing you want to do is you want to install your board onto your window frame so that everything is hanging straight and that your shade is completely down. And at that point, you're going to want to install your orbs that you have with your system so that you can adjust the tension of your lift cords. Ideally, you want your lift cords to be nice and evenly taut across your shade while your shade is completely down. With your orbs, this makes it very easy, and then when you're done, you can raise and lower your shade by pulling on your bead chain.